Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Crypto's News. It's me, Omar Bam. I hope you're having an amazing Saturday. Thanks if you're joining me here live, and I invite you to go ahead and share the streams, get them out there. I think it's an important subject today because there are a lot of people who are involved in Hex. Hex, which has just blown up as far as popularity, and it is something that was being promoted by a gentleman named Richard Hart that has a lot of money invested into it, been called a Ponzi scheme by some people, but it has so far held up. But today we have the price dropping quite a bit as something that's been developing over the last 2 days seems to be coming a little bit more to a head here. And that is, it appears that influencers involved with Richard Hart, Hex, Pulse Chain, his latest project, which has yet to launch, and we'll see if it does launch, they seem to be investigated by the SEC, as we're seeing reports of documents being leaked now, which are subpoenaing them for information and documents related to all sorts of things. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what is happening by taking primarily a look at a thread by Eric Wall. I do want to say that this is not all confirmed. I haven't yet heard from anyone officially call the SEC like CoinDesk and figure out whether this is legitimate or not. But all evidence does point to this being the case, which would be quite interesting. So thanks for joining me. Hit the like if you enjoy the video, and we're going to dive right into it. I just want to make sure that you're aware, if you haven't been aware, in case I'm not entirely sure how it works with unstaking, and you might need to unstake if it is the case, or do whatever you need to do. I at least want to provide the information so you can see for yourself what's going on here with this thread. So let's break it down. It starts off here with Eric Wall. I saw this posted today when I woke up. Guys, it's happening. Hexagon's influencers are getting subpoenaed by the SEC over Hex, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X. The Hex information channels are filled with information about how to shred your digital evidence. So we're looking at these kinds of documents right here. You can see this is coming from Fort Worth, Texas. It says here, Securities and Exchange Commission, November 1st, 2022. So 4 days ago. Today is November 5th. In the matter of Hex, it says here, the staff of the Securities and Exchange Commission is conducting an investigation in the matter identified above. We believe that you may possess documents and data that are relevant to an ongoing exchange being conducted by the staff of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. Accordingly, we hereby provide notice that such evidence should be reasonably preserved and retained until further notice. Additionally, the enclosed subpoena has been issued to you as part of this investigation. The subpoena requires that you produce documents responsive to the subpoena attachment by November 15th, 2022. And these documents are quite comprehensive here. Documents sufficient to disclose all domestic and foreign bank, brokerage, cryptocurrency, or other financial accounts held by you on your behalf or for your benefit, and any digital asset wallet addresses, so all the wallet addresses of this individual held by you on your behalf or for your benefit. Also, it wants copies of all the agreements, documents, and communications concerning Hex, communications with Richard Hart, Pulse Chain, and or Pulse X, including but not limited to agreements concerning you or your representative's promotion of Hex, Pulse Chain, or Pulse X, and even more than that, all agreements, documents, communications concerning payments you or your representatives received in connection with your or your representative's promotion of Hex, Pulse Chain, or Pulse X, or any other digital asset. So Eric Wall posted this afterward because people were like, how is this happening? What's going on here? Well, it could be the case that Hex and some of these might be securities under the eyes of the regulators. He posted this rather silly video, but I'll play it for you guys.
The ticks and the dips that you see, that's emotions. But Hex has done this right here. It's gone from here to here. And it's going to go from here to here. And then it's going to go from here to here. Why? Because of the math. It has absolutely nothing to do with human emotions like other trading platforms do.
I put it all in. I went.
Like all what?
All of our house money.
So basically, you have a situation where you have people who are basically telling others that these are guaranteed investments, that they're going to go up. And that's really what's going on here with these influencers who are promising repeated gains because it's just hard-coded into it, and how that might seem quite attractive to people to get involved. So anyway, you have accounts all over who are tweeting that this is fake, this is not legitimate, fake, 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 fake. So here's one example: HVid Hex, crypto babe attracted to the highest APY in the world. She actually happened to have met Richard Hart, it looks like, here in the summer, and she said that, that phrase, never meet your idol in real life, maybe you won't like them and it'll ruin your illusion of them. Well, Richard Hart was pretty awesome in real life, she said. He destroyed that saying, and no, he's not my dad. Okay? Anyway, it looks like they had a nice steak dinner that day. So anyway, what she went ahead and did was write fake. So Eric starts asking her, why do you think Richard Hart is tweeting about shredding evidence, which we'll look at in a moment. And she wrote, he likes security. And a subpoena never asks for your identity, never do typos. It's also not normal for a case number not to be there. Eric Wall goes, Richard Hart would be tweeting about it if it was fake to protect Hexicans, members of the Hex community, not tweeting about deleting your chat history. It is a little bit suspicious. You'll see why in a moment. Because it's not harmful, wrote HVid Hex, for anyone in the first place. Why address something fake? If this is all fake, why even bother mentioning it? Just means that the troll who made it won. Eric Wall said, girl, the man absolutely loves calling out fakes of all kinds. Speaking about Richard Hart, your thinking is not clear on this. So you can see, for example, here, Richard Hart's tweet. Apparently the bear market is bringing out fake Twitter spaces. I just listened to a fake 3 Arrows Capital update. I'm down to 135 IQ now. Or this one where he looked at a phishing scam related to Binance and Uniswap. Or this one related to a fake Trezor hardware wallet scam. Or this one pointing out all the different fake YouTube streams. So yeah, he is known to be someone who calls out security things all the time. So she wrote, HVid Hex, let's see, everything gets solved eventually. The subpoena still doesn't look real. With that being said, I hope I'm not wrong, but the case is fake. Person who made it will get, if the case is fake, the person who made it will get sued for defamation. Eric Wall then says, I don't get what looks wrong about it. What was the typo or identification request that you were referring to? But all we got from HVid X was this as an example, although I couldn't find any other examples in the aforementioned document besides the one she pointed out, which is kind of silly. So it reads, all agreements, documents, we looked at it before, and communications concerning payments you or your representatives received in connection with your or your representative's promotion of Hex, Pulse Chain, or PulseX, or any other digital asset. So she thought that was a typo. Eric Wall says, girl, that is not a typo. It says your or your representative's promotion. It's correct spelling, like your or your representatives. It's not, it's just basically grade school grammar is what Eric Wall then wrote after that. But this person started to get involved in the conversation. Mark Still Jittery, Mark Fagel on Twitter. He wrote, hi there, former SEC attorney who signed hundreds of subpoenas here. Yes, we sometimes made typos. Unlike in private practice, we did not have a well-paid support staff to proofread. This looks exactly like every subpoena I ever sent with no indications it is not legit. Further, he went on to say, as someone who sent hundreds of subpoenas as an SEC lawyer, I'm here for all the misinformed responses claiming that the subpoena is fake. It's almost certainly legit. Sorry. Please don't blindly accept efforts to debunk a subpoena from people who have never seen one before. So Mark Fagel does indeed appear to be an attorney. It says here he's a retired attorney who had a 28-year legal career specialized in the SEC informant, so he would most certainly know what one of these subpoenas would look like. And in securities litigation, he was also listed as a lecturer at Stanford Law School. And later on, he said, I mean, he got quite into this thread. He said, I don't know if this is real without having the original in hand. I'm just saying it appears to be real. And the explanations people give for why it's not are nonsense. As for why the SEC sent it, I've been out of the SEC for 10 years and have no inside scoop on their enforcement program decisions. My guess is that they think this looks like a huge scam and they won't have trouble establishing it's a security. So maybe they see this as low-hanging fruit. So he also said, when I investigated Ponzi schemes, as far as people who are saying just is fake, it's not necessarily that they're providing real proof as to why it's fake or any reasonable explanation. What he wrote, Mark, when I investigated Ponzi schemes, there'd always be investors who defended the operators, even as we showed them bank statements proving their money had been blown on cars, stereo equipment, and Vegas trips. Same mojo in crypto world. So anyway, it does look like it could be quite serious here. In an update by Eric Wall afterwards, he wrote, I'm hearing now that hexagons are generally starting to accept that the SEC documents are real. However, most seem to think that this is due to some trivial minor violation, the cope stage. I'm here to ruin your day. It's absolutely not looking that way. So if you looked at the original document, there's this name here that wasn't painted out, Kleinman. So if you look up Kleinman at the SEC, you find here Derek Kleinman, seasoned fraud investigator with over 13 years of experience in both conducting and supervising complex financial crime investigations. So it does appear like he may be at the head of this investigation out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So still, you still have those who do not believe this is real. Here's Jack Hexagon, who wrote, okay, sir, explain why one paper says it's from SEC Fort Worth and it's saying to send personal information to an address in Virginia, which is a fake building being used, fake news, try again. So she put some screenshots. She looked at the address that had been listed there, which was 14420 Albie Marley Point Place in Chantilly, Virginia. And she was basically saying that that was a fake building. This might be some sort of phishing scam. I don't know. Try to figure out who are the wealthiest hex investors to figure out who the $5 wrench attack or, I don't know, rob or whatever. I don't know what the thinking of is here. But if you actually look it up, as is pointed out here by Angelo Merkel, what that address does show up on the Office of the Whistleblower at the official SEC.gov website. You can see it right there, 14420 Albie Marley Point Place in Chantilly, Virginia. So it is a legitimate address. So what is this about Richard Hart calling for the deleting or erasing or censure of certain data and documents? I think it might be the case that maybe the SEC didn't subpoena Richard Hart directly just yet. Maybe they're trying to build some sort of investigation, if this is all legitimate, of course, around him first, get as much information from the influencers who it might be easier to intimidate or scare into producing the documents right away or whatever. That's what I would imagine he would be thinking. And maybe the SEC realizes it might be more difficult to get information from him directly. I don't know. But he had been posting this, so you can see this is on the Hex News channel. He had written on Telegram, Telegram is best used with secret chats and auto-destruct timers turned on. Document retention policies save lots of storage space too. A clear hard drive is a fun hard drive. There's so many cool things to download these days. Secret chats in Telegram can't be read on your computer. They only work on mobile, so they're less convenient. However, it's nice to know that hackers can never access your message history if they crack a Telegram server. Not your keys, not your coins. Keep your private messages private. He linked to an example here of a video which, as I've seen before in the past, it's called Don't Talk to the Police. And he had also tweeted this out. You cannot even comment underneath it on Twitter. Do you accept the good advice you're given? You think you do, but do you really? Are you using secret chats with self-destruct timers? Or are you a slow learner? Is it hard for you to click buttons? I would imagine that if this is all legitimate, there was some sort of wrongdoing or anything. Either way, I would imagine Richard Hart is probably great at having gotten rid of as many trails as he could. But there in communications at least tend to be the two parties, right? Or one to many parties. For example, in Telegram, where you could have had people screenshotting things. You could have had those communications with certain individuals, and those individuals might not have deleted that information. So that's likely why the SEC is going after those folks. Anyway, Richard Hart also tweeted this out today, pointing at a Wikipedia article talking about this chilling effect. And so it does go to show that he's basically saying, don't say anything. He's making it look like the subpoena is quite legitimate. Here's the Wikipedia article. In a legal context, a chilling effect is the inhibition or discouragement of the legitimate exercises of natural and legal rights by the threat of legal sanction. A chilling effect may be caused by legal actions such as the passing of a law, the decision of a court, or the threat of a lawsuit or investigation, in this case, like from the SEC. Any legal action that would cause people to hesitate to exercise a legitimate right, freedom of speech, or otherwise, stay quiet for fear of legal repercussions. When that fear is brought about by the threat of a libel lawsuit, is called a libel chill. A lawsuit initiated specifically for the purpose of creating a chilling effect may be called a strategic lawsuit against public participation. So he's basically trying to remind people that they have the right to remain silent, although it does look like SEC is requiring those documents again to be produced within 10 days on November 15th. Lists of all the addresses held by these individuals, almost like a complete overreaching way. But I guess he's trying to say make it a little bit more difficult for them to get that paperwork. So what could he be trying to, defend against or avoid? It does seem like it could be the case. Anyway, this was shared by Mr. Whale or Whale Chart on Twitter. So what has Richard Hart been up to? This was posted on TikTok. Looks like he's been having a pretty good time shopping at Louis Vuitton. I gotta lower that for the copyright. The comments are pretty colorful. Yeah, he's been known to show off, the watches, show off his purchases at places like Louis Vuitton, show off cars, as he's put it, a way to market Hex, to make it look more attractive, right? Outrage marketing. On another level, someone else said he looks like a puppy who found a bone, I guess because of the bag in his mouth. Someone said he should just buy, Mr. Whalechart said he should just buy the whole store, or why doesn't he hire someone to hold his bags for him? Anyway, very interesting. Is that there's also appearing to be, and I just heard about this in that thread, a documentary that's in the works called The Highest of Stakes Movie that seems to be about Richard Hart. You can actually even find that they're producing an entire orchestration of music for this documentary. So surely this could be another bullet point that will be included in that documentary that's in production. Although I'm not sure if it's completely funded by Richard Hart, if he has some sort of creative input. I would imagine he probably wouldn't want to cover too much of this if that is the case. But anyway, so far the price of Hex has continued to drop throughout the day. It seems now actually to have become a little bit more stable. It's down 6.7% in the day. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of what's going on here with the situation developing, and that you can at least keep tabs if you haven't been following this news, because it could be something that could affect the price. For example, if it's not legitimate, if this is all fake, then I would imagine that there could be a recovery and maybe even blow past it, right? Blow higher than what was lost throughout the scenario. But if it is legitimate and this is confirmed, there could be further downside for Hex here, and it could be sizable. So I did want to make sure that you guys knew about the situation. So anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Saturday. Thank you so much for joining me here. I gotta get back to my own with family here, but I wish you the best. Take care of yourselves. Stay cryptic. Peace.